All right, party people, in this video, I'm going to dive deep into what we call comprehensive digestion and stool analysis. It's basically extensive testing into your gut microbiome. So you're in the course, you're looking at colon cleansing, and it is the most crucial thing that you can do for yourself. No disease can be healed without attending to your gut. So what I'm going to share with you now is some information on a specialized functional pathology test, which is done through a pathology lab. I personally use a lab here in Australia called Naturopath. And to have one of these tests done, you need to be referred by a relevant practitioner, me being one of them. And what this involved is basically a sample of your stool, where they will then look at the stool under very, very detailed, specific microscopic tests and analyze absolutely all the contents inside your stool. Now, this is 10 times, thousands and thousands of times more advanced than if you were to go to your GP and have them do a stool sample. To give you an example, they will be able to test through your GP a list of a few very, very common parasites, which is great if you suspect you have things like diatomaceae, blastocystis hominis. It can be a really great start. But if you are someone who has been dealing with debilitating gut issues and digestive symptoms, chronic illnesses, autoimmune conditions, right to the extremity of even cancer, that tiny little broad sample through your GP is only going to look at one key element, which is some broad parasites. But what we're finding is there is so much else going on in the gut, looking at viruses that affect your gut, pathogenic bacteria, and in particular, there's a lot of strains that are directly linked with the incidence of autoimmune conditions. Very broad detail, look at all your candida, and it basically tests for hundreds of different pathogens. On top of that, it also tests for inflammatory markers, digestive markers, immune markers, and other functional gut things which tell us a lot about how your hormones will be looking and your general health and vitality at all. So I'm going to share my screen very, very quickly and show you a sample comprehensive gut and digestion analysis. Now, these tests are an investment. In my opinion, every single human being should have one of these done every 5 to 7 years. They're an investment of around $500, sometimes up to $530. But it is the best investment that you'll possibly make for your health, especially if you already have a chronic illness and you're dealing with chronic hormone problems, chronic autoimmune conditions. Prevention is always the best key. You'll always hear me talk about that. And this is why I think everyone should get one done every 5 to 7 years, because most people who end up with chronic diseases, albeit really awful cancers and stuff like that, have had existing parasites and pathogenic bacteria existing in their gut for many, many years, slowly debilitating the immune system, slowly dysregulating the nervous system, slowly depleting and affecting your ability to absorb nutrients. So people become run down, weakened, and then all the whole gamut of hormonal symptoms will basically pop in. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen and show you an example of what this looks like. So here we have a test. It looks at all the things that it's test for, but basically this first section of the GIT functional markers, it looks at calciprotection, which is an inflammatory marker, beta-glucuronidase. Now, if that is elevated in your stool, you 100% will have estrogen dominance. Your body is not breaking down and clearing out estrogen, and you will end up with the gamut of all the symptoms of estrogen dominance, including heavy, painful periods, weight gain, painful breasts, estrogen dominant cancers, and goes on. Pancreatic elastase is going to basically a digestive enzyme which breaks down fats and proteins. So if you don't have enough of that, well, your digestion is not going to work. We look at your pH, your secretory IgA. Now, this is an immune marker. It is an immune complex that is secreted in the gut, and it ensures that we can ward off infections. If it's super, super elevated, we know that you're going to have a lot of food intolerances. If it's super low, you're going to become very, very susceptible to catching every bug under the sun and not being able to kick it. Okay. Beyond that, we look at the measurement of fat in your blood to see whether you're actually breaking down and absorbing fat-soluble nutrients. We look at transglutaminase IgA, which looks at your ability. Depends whether you have celiac disease or not. And zonulin is a measurement of leaky gut syndrome. Your short-chain fatty acids gives a lot of information as to how you're metabolizing fuel, burning fat, and processing energy. We then look at, like I said, all the different types of parasites, as you can see there, blasto, diatomaceae, and it goes on, Giardia. Won't read them all. You can all have a look at this. Lots of different worms, lots of different viruses. We also look at lots of these different bacterial pathogens. Now, these guys can cause lots of problems, and a GP cannot test you for these unless you have this comprehensive test done. These are some nasty infections that can cause a lot of problems that aren't directly linked to the gut, headaches, fatigue, allergies, joint pain, all these sorts of things that link back to the gut. We also look at a lot of different H. pylori, a lot of different things that can lead to things like heartburn and stuff like that. Beyond that, we're also looking at all what we call the opportunistic bacteria that will cause lots of problems if it grows too big. And I've seen these infections in people cause debilitating symptoms in people. We also look at all your potential autoimmune triggers, as I said before, and we also look at all the different many strains of Candida as well. Beyond that, we can then look at all the beneficial good bacteria. Now, this top one, the Akkermansia muscipula, that is a crucial beneficial bacteria that if you do not have enough of, your metabolism will be at zero. You will not burn fat. You will not be able to signal to insulin and GLP-1, and that is a major, major block for metabolism. All this stuff is so important for building your immune system, helping you absorb your nutrients. I could go on and on and on. This other one down the bottom here is Oxalobacter fermentis. Now, this is a bacteria that specifically breaks down oxalates. So if you don't have this bacteria in your gut, you're going to become very sensitive to oxalates, and you're going to have all the spectrums of side effects of high oxidative stress. So headaches, joint pain, immune problems, the list goes on and on. We go into a lot more detail as well. We look at the different families of different bacteria and how they're balanced. This can lead to so many things with your mental, emotional well-being, your immune system, the hormone health. Everything links back to the gut. So as you can see, it is a very comprehensive test. Yes, it is a financial investment for you. Yes, it's going to cost you an investment. But if you have been struggling with debilitating health problems for ongoing, you are wasting your time just guessing and trying this cleanse and trying that. So if you're serious about your health, you're serious about longevity, and you really want to go all in, do the Balanced Beta colon cleanse. You're going to get so many benefits. But if you have a nasty bug lurking around in there, it might take you 6 months of being on the Balanced Beta parasite cleanse before you completely eradicate that. But you're not going to know unless you have the specialized testing. So this is why I like to offer this as an option for you guys. This testing is included in the price of a Balanced Beta boot camp. So this is, like I said, the $530 is completely included in your boot camp investment. Your boot camp investment, as you probably have seen, it's a $3,000 investment, but that includes your extensive hormone testing, your gut testing, all your consults with me, all your group calls, your online education portal, all your supplements as well. So it is the cheapest way to really go all in on your health and completely transform things. But if you would like to do this test, jump over to my website. You can order it and see where you're at. And then, of course, you have the option to book a consult with me to go over the results and map out an individualized treatment plan for you. Or you can join the Balanced Beta Bootcamp, where we do it all week by week, step by step. And I promise you we can get your health, your hormones, and everything back on track. But sometimes we have to test, not guess.